I don't get hugs consistently. I don't hear my name being said. And there's no fault, it's just circumstance. But now I'm in a position where I feel like I sometimes can't picture a love that meets all of your needs. Or most of them. I don't know, I just wish I could like make myself like not want it anymore, you know? Because while I know it's natural to want it, it's painful and I'm tired. And it's just undeniable and I can't front. But it, you know, you try to pretend like you don't want love or whatever, but every so often something, ugh.
Guys, I think that I independent womaned it too hard. And now I'm 36. I live in a house that I own with a great career, amazing friends and family, an adorable cat. And I may very well be alone forever because I don't want anyone to sleep in my bed. This one right here. So, you know, just a word to the wise for all those 28 to 32-year-olds who are thinking, yeah, I'm an independent woman after a long relationship. I can do anything. You can. But just know what you're getting yourself into.
Feminism is one of the reasons for female loneliness.
Well, yes. I mean, are you for real? So like, let me get this straight. Like, alternate reality. I'm a liberal woman. Okay, so I'm gonna be frumpy. I'm gonna put my career first. I'm allowed to be fat. I can have colored hair, and I can think that men are my oppressor. And then naturally, they're gonna want to marry me and talk to me and have conversations with me. Absolutely not. Yeah, it keeps women lonely.
Yeah.
And they need you to be in the tribe. And if you go against feminism as a woman, you will be lonely. I mean, Pearl and I have had this experience. We go against the sisterhood. We ain't got that many girlfriends. That's why you always see us together. We ain't got nobody else, you know?
I have so many friends.
Yeah?
No.
You pissed off the whole manosphere right about that. Yeah.
Newsflash. No fucking good girls in today's society. There might be 1%, 2%, maybe being generous, 3%, 4% of women who are saving themselves for their husband, for marriage. But today, women are fucking at the age of 11, 12, 13 years old. There's women by the time they're 25, they've been fucking for 10 years. And there's a book I promote from time to time by a guy named Daniel Bergner. It's called What Do Women Want? But essentially what he says is that there's a lot of things that men believe about women because they want to believe it about women, because it makes them sleep better at night. And one of those things is, well, women are born with more monogamous tendencies than men are. That's bullshit. Women like to fuck just like we do. You better believe that shit. They love to fuck. You know the female sex toy industry is $1 billion industry? You think these women are using that shit in the kitchen?
The OG of the game, Alan Roger Currie, perfectly explains modern women in the West. And that's something you should be at peace with. They're the most fun to have with, but they're not the ones to start a family or cohabitate with. If you want to start a family, become a passport bro to a traditional country and move there. They're great to practice pickup with and get some reps in because you don't want to be inexperienced once you meet the woman you want to marry. You should know the basics and know how to be competent with women. What do commenters think? Not one single lie told on this one. At least most males today can spot the truth and know that there's no honor to defend with today's modern women, because it's been screwed out of them. Another person stated, "Give this man a show and a book deal, ASAP." Too bad Alan Roger Currie passed away. He was definitely one of the original to shatter the myth that you should be romantic with modern women. Being romantic only works with virgin women and if your wife and girlfriend has earned it. Otherwise, it'll reduce their attraction towards you and they'll think of you as a simp. Another comment. Promiscuous women can't pair bond. We need a great reset. And that's true. These women can't settle down because they'll always be the most excited by a new guy. They're addicted to the honeymoon phase of the relationship. So don't try to tame a wild animal. Most strict Christian men and women save themselves. One of the many reasons I'm proud to be one. As long as both Christians are the same age, because there are plenty of single mothers who turn to the church to try to sucker a good Christian man to take care of her kids. And most churches have been compromised and will accept Jezebels when they aren't supposed to be banned.
So I called my mom and she didn't pick up, but she texted me this. Hey baby girl, saw that you called today. My phone has been off since I'm at a women's conference for a few days, so any emergencies, call your dad. Just to give you a little bit of background, my mom is Puerto Rican and this is so unusual because she calls me 10 times a day and she never ignores my phone call, texts me after I call her, yeah, right, that's not, doesn't happen. So I say, what do you mean women's conference? What's that? Who kidnapped you? Understandably, what's going on? So she says, LOL, church related, last minute from a friend teacher who had an extra ticket because someone bailed, going back in now. And I'm like, okay, church thing. So I just say, okay, see you. All right, so the night goes by and I'm just like, I don't really know. That's still kind of weird. She didn't call me back. Okay. So I text her again. I say, okay, enough is enough. There is no conference for God that you wake up in church and fall asleep in church with no lunch break. You have 8 hours to call me. I ain't playing with you. Because I'm not. Also, at this point, I'm super concerned because my parents never separate for more than 24 hours. And I knew my dad was at home and my mom is not there. And I'm like, what is going on? So before she called me back, I called my dad and I was like, hey dad, what's going on? What are you doing? Being all nonchalant and everything. And I was like, where's mom? Did I mention that they do not separate for more than an hour at most? Anyway, he's like, I don't know, but I hope, she just comes back to me. I messed up. And I'm like, oh shit, my dad cheated on my mom. Fuck. Nothing like that happened. He made her upset by not kissing her goodbye. And so she's decided to go on some church retreat and ignore him. And I thought games would end after 30 maybe. Yo, those fools are 60! I don't think I should get married.
This is a tactic a lot of modern women use. When they plan or want to cheat, they'll use any slight disagreement or infraction to get outraged over, so they can blow off steam while blowing someone else. The fact that she was outraged that he didn't kiss her goodbye, and the mother is supposed to be Christian, is that what Jesus teaches? Tell wives to ghost the husband or he forgets to kiss her. If your wife or girlfriend leaves your side for longer than 3 hours without a real explanation, you need to assume the worst and find someone else, because the first couple of times may be a way to condition you to get used to her being gone. Then she'll quickly cheat with someone. What do the commenters say? My son's girlfriend is Puerto Rican. We went camping over the summer and she forgot to call her mom that morning and her mom showed up where we were. And that's how a lot of traditional cultures are with their daughters, which is good. The more they check in on their daughter, the higher chance she will lose her virginity. But when they move to America or a Western country and is surrounded by feminism, they'll slowly become non-traditional. LMAO. Church retreats usually don't let you use your phone so you can focus. It's super awesome. I miss going to those. Majority of women at church are as godly as atheists. They go to church after going out Saturday night to a club. A lot of these pastors are also wolves in sheep's clothing and have affairs with the women in the church. Unless there's real nuns at the church retreat, anything can happen.
What really changed my income was definitely only
What kind of bag are we talking about here?
millions.
Wow.
Damn it.
Damn it. When did you reach your first million?
First 5 months. I had a dinner with my parents. I showed them what I was posting, but this is the income. My stepdad was like, keep doing this shit.
That's my
You can
guy.
retire in 3 years if you do this. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, he was like, I've never seen this income in my life.
That's life-changing money. And all a chick has to do is get out of bed and take off her clothes, while a guy has to actually achieve something hard to make millions, like build a business which takes at least a decade to make millions or learn a very specialized skill. But even then, mostly athletes and CEOs make $1 million per year, not even engineers or coders. The parents are encouraging their daughter to be a professional degenerate is all you need to know about today's modern women. She's selling her soul for a short-term lifestyle, but when she can't make that money anymore or decides that she wants a family, no man that she respects would want to start a family with her. She's gonna die alone raising the neighborhood stray cats. The top comment said, "Stepdad was #1 subscriber." That's disturbing. And the fact that this person has no problems with that might be more. Joining OnlyFans might be a symptom of being violated by a stepfather, as kids are more likely to do so being raised by a single mom. Someone replied to that comment, "Stepdad applied to become a cameraman. The degeneracy is on a new level." Another replied, "Stepdad was in the pics." Single moms who divorce for frivolous reasons like just to get child support, this is the outcome of their selfishness. She showed them what she was posting. Interesting. Either they didn't care or she just posted photos that are a little too risky for IG. Basically, simps allowed themselves to get scammed when they could have gotten a better deal doing a Google search. But that's the trick with OnlyFans. People have to pay extra to see the private content in their DMs. So, her regular pics on OnlyFans could have been IG-friendly photos. Don't blame her. Blame the people who buy it and give her the fame. And true as well. These thoughts would be nothing without the simps, and hopefully this content can wake them up. The shaming of simps is one of the best public services men can do.
Don't like that. Like this, yeah. His friends and his dad hate me. I broke his little heart, he'll cry, baby.
This thought looks like she's in her early 20s and has already slept with over 150 men. Towards the end it says yacht, which means it's either an athlete or some old hairy crusty guy. She did it at a music video, which means she probably got the part through the casting couch. Bunch of her lays were from Tinder, which is Chad's and Tyrone's hookup app, which is a relationship app for everyone else. She even did it with someone at church. As I said, church is not sacred anymore. She did someone's dad and a bunch of her friends' friends. This chick can't be trusted anywhere and is gonna definitely end up alone. Top comment said, "Find God. It's too late. There's no coming back from this." A simp commented, "I'm trying to be 151. Definitely not worth the effort and a possible STD. Someone replied to the comment, "What's left of it though? Obviously nothing worth having." A guy commented, "Bro, I don't even know 150 people. It's safe to say a good amount of these people are strangers she met on the first night, because many of the locations are trips to New York or a pool party. Lots of it is also off of IG. Women can have their IG privates with very little followers, and doesn't mean people can't still message her or the other way around." Another comment, "Retirement home? Yeah, she even did it in a retirement home. Those standards are lower than most simps, if she really did it with someone who didn't have teeth." No surprise, a thought commented, "I'm honestly just impressed." Even the official Tinder app commented on her post, "Happy to be the 102% of this list." Yes, I did the math. Another commenter said, "Chess club? Church? Eiffel Tower?" Women can get it anywhere, and the more they have sex, the more it has to have some type of risk for them to climax. The only difference between this thought and most modern women is that she had no shame telling the truth if 150 is the real body count. Many women, especially those good girls, can rack up an even higher body count and you'd never know it. There's psychopaths who can do the dirty deeds and act like nothing happened moments after. This is why the MGTOW and Passport Bro movement is growing, because men are sick of getting road worn and used up women.
This is part 2 of me telling the third guy that I wanted to be intimate with that I've got herpes. So I told him, and he was like, "Okay, well, we can't have sex." And I was like, "Okay," but then I was like, wait, it's really common. I know it seems a little crazy, and I just started spitting all these like statistics at this poor guy. But then he was like, "No, well, I have Crohn's disease, and I just don't really know, like, I'm on immune system suppressants and yada yada yada. I just don't think it'd be a good idea. But also, both of my parents have herpes, so I know how common it is. Like, don't worry." And that was something I wasn't expecting to hear, but it made me feel a lot better. But then we kind of like still like made out and like cuddled, and touched and stuff, and he still made me feel very, very sexy afterwards. And we don't talk anymore, but it was still an overall pretty decent experience.
Who's shocked that this feminist-looking chick has herpes? At least, she's honest and upfront about it. But how many rejections is it gonna take till she decides to forget to tell a guy she's interested in? Which should be a crime. Knowingly spreading STDs should be a felony at the least, with some prison time, as herpes aren't curable. People have that shit forever. And of course a simp decides to risk his personal health to make this doorknob feel better. If she has herpes, just leave. One night is not worth being infected for the rest of your life. The top comment said, I feel like there should be a dating site for the people who have stuff like this. Would it be easier to date someone else who has it? Good idea if it keeps those people out of the dating pool. The second top commenter said, I have herpes too. Whoever I got it from never told me. I'm hella lucky my husband is supportive and he got it from me and didn't leave or get mad. So she ruined her life and still managed to get a simp to marry her. Or she STD trapped a guy, just like many women baby trap men. The guy after getting it probably had no other choice but to marry her because it's much harder for a guy with an STD to get laid than a woman. Another commenter said, I got HSV1 for my ex because he was cheating on me and it was definitely stressful at first, but now I'm pretty okay with it and I don't really get. Of course Chad will most likely get it because he's able to get a lot of the women. This is one of the many downfalls of dating a Chad or Tyrone. Another chick commented, thanks for sharing. I have HPV, the warts type, with symptoms, and I am very open about it to guys. Whether they want to continue is up to them. For the most part, women would have to sleep with a lot of guys to statistically get an STD. A thought asked, I know someone who has it but doesn't disclose it to people she hooks up with, cause she stopped the outbreaks with medication. Is that bad? It is bad, because people can still get the STD when there's no outbreak. And who knows that's even true. Women have no problem lying if it benefits them. A response to that comment, it's spread by skin-to-skin contact, so if someone has a sore on an area that isn't covered by protection and that area touches the other person's skin. The first partner I disclosed it to researched it and does everything he can to help me avoid outbreaks and also keeps him safe. I love him so much. No woman is worth ruining your life over. Move on if she has anything that can spread. Make sure you get an STD test from someone you think about hooking up with. You can even ask just to gauge their response, because if they have a big problem with it, then you know they have something. Even though he won, the damage is still done. That's a good amount of his time wasted trying to defend himself. Because if he went to prison, he could seriously get hurt or killed over that false accusation. This guy's lucky because most men aren't able to beat false allegations. A commenter said, same thing happened to my brother. He lost all of his friends, but my family fought for him. Come to find out, she lied. With these type of accusations, please give the guy the benefit of the doubt and at least let the legal process do its course before believing the accusation. Another person said, and this is why we don't cancel either gender for accusations until there is evidence that proves them guilty. No one should have to endure this. That's the truth. For any accusation as serious as this, both people should disappear until this is resolved in the courts. Then people should find out after the verdict. Another commenter stated, and she gets to walk away with no punishment. Until false accusations get the same punishment as the guy who they wrongfully accuse, this is the ace up every woman's sleeve who wants revenge on their ex or current boyfriend.
Okay, so if you're curious, I get comments like that like all the freaking time, and it's just like, I don't think it's worth it. Like, to be honest, there's no really way to prove she lied. That makes sense. There's no way you can prove it, that someone lied, unless I had like a video of her saying, oh yeah, those accusations I made against you were false. Like, if I don't have that, I don't really see how I'd be able to press any charges. But honestly, I'm just glad it's over. Like, I don't even go to the same college anymore. And I just want to, like, well, chill. No, like, because going through the process of it, it's very, very annoying and stressing. So I'd rather just avoid it.
And this survivor, even though he's probably extremely worn out, needs to go on the offensive, or he's incentivizing someone else to get falsely accused in the future. This is why things like this continue. Men who have been wronged, especially with serious allegations like this, need to make it their life's mission to get justice. Also, how ironic is it that he needs definite proof or burden to sue her or press any charges, but all she needed was her word to take him to court and ruin his life? The top comment said, "Press charges. If you don't, she'll ruin other people's lives too." Someone asked, did she just accuse you and it was all made up? Or did she thought it was you, but actually it was somebody else and she didn't know? And he responded, it was all made up. The fact that he won probably did mean the whole thing had no basis. He may not ever have touched the woman and his life got ruined. I don't think a lot of y'all understand how much harder it is for men to get justice. Women barely do as is, and it's even less likely to happen with men. And that's true. The gynocentric world we live in screws men at every turn. So that's why you should be mindful when dealing with this modern women, that you're going into a landmine field. If this doesn't tell you the juice isn't worth the squeeze, nothing will.
You come to me alone, and you can't even look me in the eyes, man, and tell me the truth.
Yeah, I'll make dinner. Mom, I know how to cook. I've been cooking since I was 10 years old. I actually took a cooking class. Okay. I can do this. How do you turn this thing on? Oh, I need a lighter. Lighter? Something? Yes. No? Okay. They don't have directions on this thing. Okay, so I couldn't find the directions, but like, here you go.
This is obviously a skit, but most women I talk to have no idea how to cook. In fact, I almost always cook better than them. They bring no value at all to the table other than their caked up faces and attitude.
You said to me last week that you would pay for them.
This boyfriend refuses to pay for his partner's birthday meal.
Just can't afford it. I just can't afford to take it all out as a group.
Are you joking?
No.
That's not what you said to me last week.
That's not what I thought we agreed on. I thought we agreed on me and you, and that was the thing.
Yeah, but that's on Thursday. That's next Thursday. We're going out today. It's my birthday today, and you said,
like I said, I'm
that you're going to be paying for them.
It's not going to spend money at the moment.
Oh, guys, stop arguing.
You're joking.
It's your
It's
birthday, like.
unbelievable.
Shouldn't be getting this stressed out,
Not this last minute, honestly.
I'm not a sugar daddy. If you want a sugar daddy, go and find one. It is what it is, isn't it?
There's
I'm
no
not
need
here
to
to
say
pay for
that.
everything.
Wow,
that's rude.
It's what it is, isn't it?
Like, are you
Just
joking?
trying to make a joke out of me in front of your friends is fucking.
I'm not
Well,
trying
the
to
joke
make
is probably
a
your
joke
bank
out of you in
account
front
if
of
you
my
can't afford
friends.
it.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Why are you saying all this
Why
now?
should you have to?
So I just
Why are you
thought
saying
it showed up for your friends.
No, right.
That's clearly what it is.
Like, I've just suddenly decided.
What's the issue? You said to them that you pay. Like last week, this is the arrangement. Can't you just say this last minute now? Do you know what I mean? It's one day that I want to have
That's
this,
my
and I
first
can't even
time.
give you that.
Struggling, man. Like I say, for
What do
you,
you mean
yes,
you're
sweet,
struggling?
but
You pay for
for
your
your
sister's
friends,
birthday.
it's
There's
family,
10 of
isn't it?
them.
It's-
Oh, so we can pay for his sister, we can't pay
You
for
know
his
what? You're an absolute joke. Because I'm so sorry about this. He's just an absolute joke.
You don't have to be sorry for anything,
Like,
honestly.
they've actually travelled 1 hour to get
You're
here.
showing me up now in front of your friends. I
I'm
think
not
that's the
showing
joke.
up in front of my
It's- we're supposed
friends.
to be in a relationship,
You said to
aren't
me
we?
last
That's it,
week
your
that
friends.
you would pay for them. You shouldn't have said it if you weren't going to do
You
it.
heard that, you heard
Just
that, but I
as
can't
always, you
remember
never
saying
deliver.
that.
You never do anything for
Same
me.
as-
I've not
same
had a
as-
gift. I've not even had a card.
Like I said
Literally,
before,
you're
I'm
actually.
not
You didn't
sugar
even get her a
daddy.
card?
I'm
How
not sugar
cheap are
daddy.
you?
You didn't even give your
I
cards.
feel like you should just leave, like...
Do you know what? I'm just
Right,
not in a good headspace right now, and you're just making it really worse.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Girls, I don't even feel like going out anymore. I'm so sorry. Like, we'll just do something at home, because this guy is an absolute cheapskate.
Get f***ed in a lot, yes. There was nothing to do, yes.
Yeah, well, that's really nice, isn't it? Especially on my birthday, to tell me to get
They say his bank account is a joke because he ain't paying for all of them, but they can't even pay for themselves. This clip right here perfectly shows why so many men just don't bother with modern women. The entitlement attitude is off the scale. Obviously, some context is missing. She says that he agreed in advance to pay for her friends, but from the sound of it, more friends than expected showed up. Now, it is very obvious that the video is trying to demonize the boyfriend, saying he is unwilling to pay for his girlfriend's birthday, taking things out of context. If you guys haven't understood fully what went on, here's a summary. So the boyfriend agreed to treat his girlfriend to a birthday, all expenses paid, with just 2 of them. What he didn't know was that the girlfriend brought 10 of her friends along and expected him to pay for all of them. From 2 people, it became 12 people all of a sudden. He then refused to do that, and he got shamed by the girlfriend's friends, saying that he's poor, calling him names, etc. The girlfriend tried to gaslight him, saying that it's not what they agreed on. It was a birthday. She just wanted it to happen and be happy, blah, blah, blah. I personally think it's perfectly logical for the boyfriend to not succumb to this whole bullshit drama gaslighting whatsoever. It is one thing to be generous and spend on irrelevant friends, but it's another story not telling the boyfriend. And 10 friends just showed up, and feeling entitled for him to pay for all of them as well. They want to join in? Is fine, but fucking pay for yourself. I support the boyfriend, and I think he did nothing wrong. Social media tells me all I need to know.
Things girls love but will not ask for. We like it when you guys are being assertive. There's a difference between questions and assertions. Assert yourself. Obviously not in the wrong context, but like for example, let's say we see flowers. Don't ask us, do you want me to get you flowers? If we say yes, get me flowers, like we feel like we're asking for it and we feel needy about it. So just pick up flowers yourself and get it for her because she's gonna like it. Or like, don't ever be like, do you want me to take pictures for you? Just take pictures for her. Like, instead of saying, should I do this? Should I do that? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? Say, let me do this for you. Let me do that. Because worst case, we're just gonna be like, no. Instead of saying like, yes, do that for me.
Imagine a guy saying this about a clean house or having a warm meal. Women want everything, but they give nothing.
So I'm currently in my wife's office, and I wanted to show you guys something just to show you how hard she really does work. These are back to back to back to back employee of the months. Okay, we're in her office, like I said, and I just wanted to give you guys a perspective of how hard she really does work. I don't think a lot of people really understand how hard she works.
I had to watch this one twice to get it. Genius. He's got a winner, no doubt.
So like, what's your ideal man?
I like dark features, like tan, brown eyes, pumpy lips, tall, can have facial hair. We don't have to have facial hair. Good cheekbones, nice jawline. I don't like long hair. I don't like prawns. You have a really good body, but a really bad face.
Why is it called a prawn?
It's like a prawn, you know, you throw the head away, you eat the body.
The woman has a butter face and has about 100 layers of makeup, but a laundry list of requirements. The guy in front of her is way out of her league, but she's probably more masculine.
Why do so many women think looking your best is going above and beyond when it's really just the bare minimum?
I wouldn't say it's the bare minimum at all. It takes a long time to get ready like this.
Why does a woman's choice to look pretty make them feel like they're owed attention and resources from a man?
I don't think that means that they're owed anything. I think it's just a decision to make us feel better about ourselves.
If women expect to be compensated for the expense of their hair, nails, and makeup, should a man be compensated for his gym membership?
The way he asks his questions always reveals the hypocrisy women have in the dating marketplace. They either run out of responses or get angry.
I actually think sex in general is more pressure and harder for a guy.
No doubt.
I
think it literally comes from a guy's cum actually being witnessed versus a girl being able to fake it. That's what it comes down to.
Number one, and also like you can fully tell if a guy is turned on or not.
With his dick.
With his dick. And sometimes they're turned on, but they can't get hard for whatever reason. And that's even more stressful because you can't really control it. And I think that's the most stressful thing. You can never really know if a girl is fully into it or not.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways that we can just like play it off and like be cool about it or like get into it later. But as a guy, it's like you need to be ready to go.
Obviously, Not only getting to the sex, but performance as well. Women quite literally just have to show up. Men have to do all the work, get to the sex, prime the women, then perform.
Hi, babe, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get it. We out.
Can I connect my phone on the Bluetooth, babe?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
All right.
It's Honda 1996 with 2.6.
Wait, what is it again?
Honda 1996.
Did
you get it?
No, I can't. Help me, babe. I can't.
Bitch! Hold on. Who the fuck you been talking to? An Audi? And Lambo? Bitch, you dating Drake?
What is your problem?
My problem is you gotta get the fuck out my Honda. Get out my Honda! Get the fuck out!
You know what? Fuck you!
You know what? Fuck you!
Obviously a skit, but this is a reality in our society. Women have hundreds of dudes on the ready to replace you.
Wait, who are you?
Did you order a male stripper?
Yeah, fuck yeah, we did. Get your ass in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you? Wait,
What the fuck just...
Modern women have no class. This only works if you're Chad.
Would you rather date a guy who had a promiscuous past or was a virgin?
I would say promiscuous. It's always good to have like experience. I value that.
How much experience we talking here though?
Are we talking body count?
Realistically.
I don't know, like personally it's like 15, so around that, like 10, 15, even like 3. I don't know.
Wait, you're saying your body count's 15?
Yeah. So I would
And you're how old?
21. That's why I don't mind like a guy who's like promiscuous.
But why do you think most women are afraid to share their body count?
Because they're being slut shamed all the time. And I fucking hate that. It's the worst.
So why don't you care is the question.
If a guy has a body count of 15, he's gonna be like everyone's gonna be like, oh, like, dude, like you're good, like good for you. If a girl says that, it's gonna be like, you're such a slut. I don't care. What if I'm a slut?
This is why body count is different for men. It's experience because women want an experienced man, but for men, they don't want an experienced woman. They'd rather be her teacher, something many women fail to realize.
Do you think it's reasonable for a man to not want to date a sex worker? Is that fair for a man to say, I just don't want to date a woman that's sharing her body with other men?
Well, like my dude, he's cool with me like doing solo content and girl, and because like I have respect for him, I choose to not do like dude content.
Well, let's dig deeper. So the content you are making it exclusively for other men around the world to play with their penises, right? That's your clientele, right? So is it okay for a man you're potentially dating to say, listen, I don't want my woman making content like that? Is that fair?
Like just solo and girl, he's not cool with?
He doesn't want you uploading naked photos, sexy photos on the internet.
Insecure.
Wait, why?
You think that's insecure?
Very.
You think so?
Yeah.
Explain why.
Why isn't he cool with girl?
Because why is what someone else is doing with their body bothering him so much?
Because he's looking to have a wife and have kids.
But like...
These women will never understand. There's really no point in even trying to explain it to them.
What do women bring to the table these days? A woman would be repulsed by a man who did not consider it his duty to protect her, and by a man who considered it her duty to protect him. She'd also be repulsed by a man who didn't want to provide for her financially, and by a man who expected her to provide for him financially. So there are obvious expectations that women have of men that are essentially deal breakers when it comes to attraction. And what's interesting is that men are completely on board with these things. Men live to protect and provide for women, and none of them are fighting to unburden themselves of these duties. But on the other side of the equation, women have suddenly abandoned all duties to their men. It used to be pretty straightforward. Keep your home beautiful, keep your man fed, demonstrate extreme loyalty. But modern women have become furious at these ideas. So this is what men mean when they ask, what do you bring to the table? If cooking, cleaning, and avoiding interactions with other men are not your duties, then what are? Because men embrace the things that you demand of them, and you reject everything that we demand of you.
All facts, I think most of us understand this at this point. Society is going to continue failing, and it's only going to get worse.
Nico, John, yourself, and Fresh, have y'all ever found yourself in love with a woman?
Yes, I have actually. Yeah,
many times. Yeah.
Yeah, but my thing is, I don't fall in love with women. I have love for women. Because when you fall in love with a woman, you put yourself in a precarious situation where she now has the leverage.
Do you think it's a choice like that though? That like, because you say I don't fall in love with women. Is that something that you're like? Is there like an amount of distance that you're keeping between yourself and your female partners?
Well, a cornerstone of masculinity is being able to control your emotions.
Yeah.
And so
that's one of the biggest delineating factors between men and women is men are expected to control their emotions because catastrophe occurs if they don't.
It's actually, this is how the female psyche works. She meets you, you're a badass, you punch people outside of clubs, she's in love with you. Then she tries to make you a nice guy and you fall for it because, oh, it's such good, he's like butter. And then when you fall for it and become a nice guy, she goes, oh, I got cheated. This is not who I signed up to date. And in her subconscious, she feels like you lied about who you are to get so she leaves you for the other guy knocking people out. And it's like men who change, especially after marriage, for the woman, they always lose the woman, always. 100%. Right?
Their thought process is a bit backward. The reality is, when you start making her your focus, you stop focusing on your purpose and drive, therefore becoming her beta. A strong man remains on his focus regardless of his women.
These are 4 things you never tolerate from females as a fucking man. Man up, bruh. Stop being a little simp. 1, stop accepting the break terms. When your girl say, let's take a break, she wants another man to break her guts in. You hear me? Yeah. Or she might tell you like, oh, I want to focus right now. I got a lot going on. When a girl tells you this, bro, she lost all inches, bro. Move on. This is her nice way of going about it. Let me tell you something, bro. If you ever take a break from a girl and you know she smashed another dude during that break and you take her back, you a sucker, my boy. Like, tighten up. 2, a female that's always threatening to leave you over a petty disagreement or argument. Guys, walk away from this shit, bro. Imagine being a grown man walking on eggshells in your relationship. This is full-on female manipulation to get you to be her little bitch. You know what I'm saying? So when she says, oh, I'm gonna leave, but like, listen, the door's right there. I ain't stopping you, bro. And guess what? She's not gonna leave, bro, because you being a man and you standing up to a BS. She's just trying to put you in a state of fear and panic, bro. But don't fall for it. Be a man. Matter of fact, you walk away, bro. Show her that you don't care and you don't need her. You're gonna be good with or without her. 3, any type of disrespect from a female, bro, small or big. Pause. Her hanging up on the phone with you. Her blocking you because she's mad. Let me tell you something. This is where it starts, but it gets worse. You give a girl an inch, she gonna take a mile, you dig? 4, you dealing with a party girlfriend, bro, who likes to party every weekend with her friends and get drunk, right? Guys, let me tell you something. At parties, there's a lot of bad decision making. Drugs, alcohol, guys, right? One day she's gonna cheat on you, and she's gonna be like, oh, I didn't know. It was a mistake. I was drunk. Don't say I didn't warn you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Follow me for more advice you might never see.
This should be common sense. It's pretty sad it even needs to be mentioned at this point. But then again, dudes be simping on Twitch and OF, sending half their paycheck.
I'm just going to see where we're at with it. A little bit.
Maybe.
Still cool. Do you want to head around the other side, Tiff?
We'll go around. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. It just means we can get a better.
Oh! I'm sorry, I'm just trying! I don't know why it's wet! It's so wet! Okay, I'm trying! I can't even find it! I'm trying!
My first issue with video games is that I believe that as a rule, it is a massive waste of your time. But I think that we can agree that when you evaporate your time doing something so meaningless, you just think, man, I probably should have been doing something else that could have in fact benefited me in some way.
I'm going to preface this statement with the fact that I have nothing against Candace Owens. She's very well spoken and she makes great content. But this take has a lot of plot holes in it. The first one being that video games are for entertainment, you know, like seeing movies or watching sports or TV series, the news. So attacking video games specifically seems a little off because aren't you attacking every form of entertainment at that point?
Now, there are people that will say, well, I play video games to relax. And the truth is you don't, because video games are actually remarkably stressful. It's fun, but it's stressful. Like I used to drink in college because it was fun, but ultimately I wasn't doing that to relax. And it was stressful the next day when you're tired, you can't get up, you feel like crap. It's obviously not a benefit to our lives.
Okay, so now we're questioning what a person does to wind down their night with an incredibly narrow-minded viewpoint. There's difficulty sliders for single-player games. Multiplayer games can be stressful if you're sweating it out in lobbies, but I don't see things like Animal Crossing and Wii Bowling as stressful. People do like to play video games to relax, and then there's people that like competition, and those individuals are definitely not the ones saying that they play them to relax, so she's definitely got her wires crossed there.
But the second issue that I have with the gaming industry, and this is definitely the bigger one, is that it desensitizes us to violence without question.
Step 1, attack the basic stigmas around gaming. Step 2, push agenda. Desensitizes us to violence. Yeah, you can do some pretty wild stuff in video games for sure, but the last thing I want to do is see somebody get hurt or hurt someone myself. That's ridiculous. And I think 99.9% of the people out there would agree. It's a terrible take overall, and it's very obvious there's a divide between people who are actually in the gaming niche and people who have never touched a game in their life.
Of course I'll be pushing they buttons. I hold up control like the gamers. Like that, keep it a stat. Bitches is passive and keeping it crap. Bad little redhead shit about the
Hey, you're actually really beautiful. From the heart.
Keep it a bean, yo. He talk nice cause the pussy gave me how. Like that, keep it a stat. Bitches move on cause they know I got bands. They be chatting, I don't give a damn, and I'm still getting money, I know who I am. Trying to be low,
Hey, what's up, Daddy?
This money gon' act like a fan. Thinking you bigger, they got your head gas. Bitches slow, so I get them a pass. Like that, keep it a stat. Bitches move on cause they know I got bands. They be chatting, I don't.
Going to the club expecting to meet high-quality men is quite delusional. The funny part is, if the guy is tall and handsome, they'll still go home with him.
2 teenagers at a school in Texas are being charged with felonies after they released a fart spray so bad that the school had to be evacuated and 6 students were hospitalized after complaining of headaches and nausea. Okay, I get that it might have been bad, but going out on a stretcher bad? Bit dramatic, don't we think? The school building had to be closed for 3 days as hazmat crews scoured the campus with gas detection equipment. And the boys who carried out the prank had been charged with possession of a prohibited weapon, which is a 3rd-degree felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison.
That's insane. As a kid, we did this all the time. Worst I got was 1 game suspension from basketball. No wonder kids are checking out into video games. They aren't allowed to be boys.
You are the definition of a bitch ass guy.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tell you because
No doubt.
at
This is
the end of
getting
the day, there's girls out there who are, you know, they hate.
Okay.
But what would you be so mad about?
You're the definition of a woman who has no talent. You're the
No
reason.
talent.
You're the reason
No
that all of
talent.
these chicks are
going to
running
college,
to these reality
going to
shows.
college,
All that
getting
means
2
nothing.
degrees. I bet
Because you
you
did
anything
Bad
you-
Girls Club.
it doesn't
You're known as the
matter.
loud mouth, big chin chick from the Bad Girls Club. Nobody cares about your USC degrees.
These average women are all about trying to get that money being 304s. They have no soul, no critical thinking, and in 5 years, she'll be crying on social media about not being able to get a good man. Women have way too much confidence attacking men, thinking they have value because they were on some thought TV show. Good grief.
You know what's been really fun to do on my video about the Barbie movie that's like semi-blowing up? I've been watching a lot of these mansplainy red pill, oh, I'm an alpha types come in here and argue with women about what's wrong with the movie. And I'll see these really intelligent women engage with them, try to educate them, and they'll just come back with completely unsubstantiated hate speech. And I'll wait until they get like good and heated in this argument, and then I'll start deleting their comments as they come in. So they'll be having this argument, the girl will land a really good point, and when he comes in with his response, I just sit there and I delete them so that it looks like she got the last word. And you would be surprised how much time these guys spend just trying to post the same comment over and over again because they cannot not have the last word. And I realize it's petty, and I realize I'm wasting just as much of my time as they are, but the difference therein lies that they're getting angrier and angrier as they make posts, and I am having an absolute blast. And trust me, I've spent plenty of time arguing with misogynistic men, but I'm beginning to see that I think the thing that makes them even angrier than losing an argument is not getting to be heard at all. It sucks, doesn't it? And they can complain and him and haw all they want about how they're being censored and they're being silenced, but the truth of the matter is they can't get any attention making their own videos, so they just have to hitch their wagon to whichever one is getting traction so that they can have their little hissy fit in public. You're not being silenced or censored. You can always make your own video. Whether anyone is going to pay attention to it or not, different story.
If men were making dumb comments and getting schooled, then why delete them? This goes to show, you give a woman any type of power, and she more likely abuses it. The feminists in her comment section finally makes a decent point, but the man rebuttals it with facts and logic, and she can't handle her worldview being challenged. This is why feminism is at the forefront of anti-free speech, everywhere they affect with their ideology. People go to jail in the UK all the time for misgendering someone, or by making a mean post on social media. We live in a society of snowflakes. Her final argument is make your own if you don't want to be silenced. Just like they're saying now, make your own bank or payment process if you don't want to be kicked off. Well, feminists, how about make your own app from scratch if you want to be heard instead of using a communist Chinese app to make videos? Make your own phone, feminists, since you can do anything a man does. Make your own country instead of ruining this one. Go build your own country from scratch that will never have toxic masculinity or patriarchy or guns, and make a communist state. And let's see if it can progress past the Stone Age. We'll allow you to use modern technology that men have made and see if you can keep a country running for 10 years without collapsing or being conquered.
Everyone should be a feminist.
Yeah, well, men have issues too.
Yeah, the patriarchy affects men too.
You guys don't care about male issues. Women are more likely to win custody battles.
Exactly, because the stereotypes pushed by the patriarchy that women are more loving and nurturing.
Well, men are charged and punished more for the same crime that women commit.
As I said, the patriarchy, and over 80% of all crimes committed are by men.
You guys don't care about male victims. Guys get sexually assaulted too.
Real feminists support male victims. The stereotype that men are strong and can't be victims attributes to this. A lot of male sexual assault victims don't come forward because of men, saying that the man should have enjoyed the sexual encounter. And when women were putting their painted hands on their body so that they could tell their stories, boys went and mocked that. But yes, male sexual assault victims should be taken seriously.
Well, feminists just hate men.
Someone who actively hates on men is a misandrist, and they cannot be a real feminist because feminists want equality.
Okay, well, what about #KillAllMen?
It's a joke made in retaliation to all the sexist remarks made by men on this app, and abusers like Chris Brown are so popular. Real men know Kill All Men isn't about them.
This is the future of the West, which is better off being hit by a comet because of government brainwashing camps called the public education system. Feminism isn't equality, just like masculinity doesn't mean equality as well. Otherwise, where are the large marches demanding 50-50 custody, like the Pussy Hat marches? Where are the women demanding that strong, independent women shouldn't get alimony or child support? If you listen to the feminist founders, they admit it's not about equality. A quote from one of the founders of feminism, Kate Millett, states, "The complete destruction of traditional marriage and the nuclear family is the revolutionary or utopian goal of feminism." Or a quote from Linda Gordon, another feminist founder, "The nuclear family must be destroyed." Whatever its ultimate meaning, the breakup of families now is an objectively revolutionary process. A patriarchy society would be most countries in the Middle East, where until the late 2000s didn't allow women to drive or vote. A patriarchal society would punish cheating women, not celebrate them or reward them with half a man's wealth. I guess feminists need to say this because they can't believe that they're the useful idiots who are helping to destroy society. It's like today's communists advocating for communism. But when you bring up the hundreds of millions who died because of communism, then they claim that wasn't real communism. Maybe 1 billion people need to die under communism for communists to finally admit it doesn't work. And sadly, maybe a feminist-ran country needs to be conquered and enslaved until feminists realize they need a nuclear family to build strong men to defend their families and nation from invaders.
Girl call me ugly. I said, girl, where? She said, under all that makeup. I said,
Alright. You was right, I was wrong.
That's the perfect metaphor for feminism. So the next time a modern woman claims all men are liars, ask her why she's wearing fake-up. Why does she need to wear a mask and look like a different person? As you see, this chick without makeup looks like Tyrone, the crack dealer in front of the 7-Eleven. Or it's Deshaun in the back alley playing dice. How much do you want to bet? She wants a man over 6 feet tall and an athlete. Women, if you want men to stop lying about their height, which by the way, they should. Trust me guys, it's not worth the aggro. But since modern women want to have these ridiculous standards, most of which a man will have absolutely no influence over, such as height and tool size, maybe you shouldn't wear a makeup mask, or wear heels, or wear wigs. That's why men should go on a pool date for the first date. Make her wear a 2-piece, and because women will also wear spandex, which can make a beer gut look like a flat stomach. The pool will be the clock striking midnight to most of these modern women, and they'll turn back into a pumpkin.
Okay, we need to normalize the amount of people that women actually sleep with. I went on a first date with this guy last week, and he goes, yeah, I always judge a girl if she sleeps with me on the first date. I'm sorry, Frank, but aren't you sleeping with her on the first date too? Somebody please tell me why it is okay for men to sleep with as many women as they want, but yet women cannot sleep with as many men as they want. I'm so confused as to why women are called sluts and men aren't.
Because it's easy for an average woman to get laid, all they have to do is say yes. And feminism has normalized women sleeping around. Has she not heard of slut walk? And sounds like she got rejected by a based Chad. Of course, most men will sleep with a woman on the first date but never take her seriously. This is what women don't understand. Women control access to sex, and most men won't pass up the opportunity. This is why so many men say modern women are for recreational use only. Because why would they pay full price for something they just got for free? Would you expect people to buy the free samples Costco gives out for free? It's part of men's biology to spread their seed as much as possible. And in the past, a man would have to truly achieve something monumental to be able to sleep with a lot of women, as they didn't give it up for anybody back then. Genghis Khan conquered one of the biggest land areas in history, and that's why nearly 20% of all Asians are descendants of him. If being rejected or judged is bothering her and her ilk so much, then maybe she shouldn't sleep around. Instead of trying to normalize degeneracy, have more self-control. Only open your legs if the man will be there to raise the kid, or at least has been on more than one date, instead of entering these so-called situationships.
What kind of grades did you get in high school, and what do you do for work today?
So a lot of people are using this sound to talk about how they had bad grades, but now they're doing well. I want to offer a different perspective, because I worked my ass off for my grades. In high school, I just got A's and B's, which was fine, but I did a ton of extracurriculars and I had great SAT scores. Then in college, it really took off because I was taking STEM classes and I was getting straight A's for the most part. Chemistry, biology, calculus, A. I was doing 15 credit hours a semester. I was working part-time at Starbucks. I was working as a math tutor. I was president of more than one club. I worked so hard that I got to start working in a biology lab where I was pulling 5 a.m. shifts on Christmas Day. I got an honorable mention from the Goldwater Scholarship because of the B I got in organic chemistry. But I'm really happy to say that after all of that hard work, I do think I'm pretty successful now. I have nearly 2,000 subscribers on OnlyFans.
That was funny. All that effort of feminism and education just for her to turn to the oldest profession in history. Instead of doing that schoolwork, she could have just saved her virginity and married a rich guy she was attracted to at age of 18, as long as she cooked and cleaned. Then, her parents and future kids could be proud of her. She's probably the type of girl that advocates for respecting women no matter what. Or she can be topless, and men have to be able to control themselves because, just because she's topless, doesn't mean she wants any attention. Ironically, had this been before feminism, she would have become a scientist for NASA, because back then, there was no OnlyFans, and whores were shunned by society.
Values and ideas of
The modern day men's liberation movement is gaslighting.
Gaslighting. Yet another very popular, yet often misused buzzword.
The men's liberation movement hinges on the crux that men have such tough standards put on them by society.
That's because they do.
In that original video, he reads a book about men's liberation that was from the 1960s that talked about how men unalive themselves because the standards were so high for them. Well, since the 1960s, male suicide rates have only gone up, but the standards for what men are supposed to do since the 1960s have literally crashed and burned.
Have they? How so?
Reminder, 1 in 4 American children are completely fatherless. The men have completely abandoned those children. I'm talking financially, emotionally.
And I suppose that's entirely the men's fault, is it?
But Annie, we men still have to work. This comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I wish just one man who preached about men's liberation would just read the data around you.
Is anyone else wondering when the gaslighting part is going to somehow come into the conversation?
The norm in America is that families, both spouses, work. That is very much the American norm. Oh, and on top of the women working and paying the bills, they also are doing the overwhelming majority of childcare, housework, the cooking, the cleaning, the emotional labor.
Emotional labor. Well, that's different.
So if I hear one more man in this men's liberation movement talking about the mental health of men because, we're working so hard.
No worries there, because now one is going to hear from a woman.
What are you talking about?
Is one asking that question because one is failing to understand what they're talking about, or because one is just trying to downplay it?
In 2023, it is women who are expected by society to do everything.
Everything, huh? Seems like that goalpost was just moved.
Have a full-time job, to be pregnant and push out a baby and go back to work. 12 weeks later, working full-time, pumping every 2 hours, paying half those bills, being a hands-on mom, cooking and cleaning for her family. Oh, and fucking her husband still. But please, men's liberation movement, tell me how hard it is to go to work and pay half of those bills and how hard it is for you men. This is a reminder that you live in a world of your own creation. If you want to believe that men are just, oh, it's so hard on them, you're gonna believe that if you decided to believe that.
Just like one seems to believe that women are expected to do everything, right?
Why believe that when there's so much data out there that would show you, damn, men actually aren't even doing the bare minimum nowadays?
I think we're going to need to hear it from a subject matter expert like oneself. What exactly is the bare minimum that men are expected to do? That hasn't been mentioned yet.
They're abandoning their kids. America is #1 in single mother households.
I know that one doesn't really want to hear this, but those single mother households do have something in part to do with the choices that some of those women make.
American men are a joke.
No, they are not the joke here.
But we have intelligent men like this man who's in medical school, who just drones on and on about the men's liberation movement and how hard it is on men nowadays, and oh, the mental health of men because they're expected to do so much. What are you talking about?
One could have actually figured out what they were talking about if one had actually been paying attention and listened, instead of trying to spend this entire time disproving and downplaying the issues that men actually have to face every day.
You are living in a world that you have created. You are reading books from the 1960s. We don't live in that world anymore, buddy. From this point on, I am no longer ever going to use the term men's liberation movement. I'm going to call it the men's gaslighting movement. That is what it is, and that is what I'm going to call it.
Interesting choice. However, the ironic part is that one didn't actually point out anything that men are doing to gaslight anyone. However, that entire video was actually a demonstration on what gaslighting really looks like.
The dumb or ignorant feminist in the orange claims men don't work hard. A question for her: who legally mines the rare minerals her phone uses so she can record herself mocking men's mental health? Who's more likely to have a shelter if they get evicted because for every 1,000 women's shelters, there's only one men's shelter? Who can look average and spread their legs to make 6 figures being a digital stripper? And feminists are the ones who championed for years that women can do everything. Men aren't promoting boss bitch lifestyle on social media. And the women on social media who do everything don't work a real job. Being a professional influencer isn't creating a part for a machine that builds the brakes for a car. And most career women demand that the house chores are split up with their husband. That's why they chose the career, so they can avoid motherly duties. Also, men traditionally do chores for the home, like mow the lawn, fix the window, change the light bulb, or build a new deck. Even back when they were the sole provider, a deadbeat mom can receive child support and welfare, while a deadbeat dad will be thrown in jail for not paying child support. Not only that, they'll take away his professional licenses and his driver's license. The only time a man does the bare minimum is if he's a Chad or Tyrone who's unemployed, but feminists still let him raw dog them on the first night, and he leaves when they get pregnant. But then, the same feminists will demand a man to become a cuck, aka a stepfather, who has a 6-figure income, a car, and a house, just to raise Chad's and Tyrone's kids.
So why are you not out there petitioning to abolish the draft? It's honestly really ironic when men bring this up, because abolishing the draft is a very common kind of bullet point within feminist movements, because it is a group of people in power, namely the government, telling people what they can and cannot do with their own bodies. And yet, for some strange reasons, when men bring up the draft, especially as like a gotcha counterpoint to like a feminist movement, it's never them talking about how and why they want to abolish the draft. It's just talking about how they want to make women be in the draft as well. Why do you think that is? Instead of the mindset being, oh, this thing has the potential to hurt men, we should try and abolish it. The mindset is, well, hey, this thing's really harmful and can hurt men, but let's also hurt women as well. It's weird.
This proves once again that feminism wants the benefits of a man without the responsibility. During the women's suffrage movement, the majority of women didn't want the responsibility to vote because they'd have to sign up for the draft. And there needs to be a draft because singing peace and love isn't going to stop an invading army at the gates. The problem is, in America, the draft has been abused by the corrupt elites, the same elites who push feminism for fake wars, so of course most men are against the draft. And what's wrong with making women go on the front lines? Aren't feminists claiming there's no difference between men and women? Isn't a pillar of feminism that women are strong and independent, and they can do anything a man can do? Men want women. especially feminists, to be at the front of the line because they're enjoying a lot of the benefits of men going to war. Women only want to be the CEOs, not the garbage collector or the sewer cleaner. Where are women demanding to operate a jackhammer on construction sites? Instead, they get paid the same amount on a road construction site holding a sign to slow down the traffic.
So I wanted to share just a little bit about my journey from being in the camp of not all men to where I'm at now with a much better understanding of why it has to be all men. So I used to be pretty firmly in the camp of not all men. I would read, news articles and stories about things happening to women, hear about experiences, and I would believe them. It's not that I didn't believe them that they would happen. I would immediately go to a place of, these men, like, they're giving us a bad name. These jerks, why can't they just stop it? Because it's not all men. These guys. And then one day, I don't remember the exact wording of the post I saw on Facebook, but something about the way that it was worded got through to me in a different way that nothing else had at that point. And it basically, the message was, it's you. The message of this thing was, it's you, and you are doing these things. And so I had to take a really long, hard look at myself and do some assessing, like, am I doing this stuff? And I had a conversation with my wife, really in-depth conversation with my wife about whether, what, am I doing these things? Is there anything that I do that makes you feel unsafe, that lets you know that you're not, like, am I doing any of these things? Please help me. If I am, please bring it to my awareness. Did I ever make you feel unsafe in anything that I did or anything that I said? And really just trying to identify that in myself. Well, after going through that process and kind of taking stock of myself and kind of looking at where I want to go and who I want to be, I came to an understanding that the all men argument, they have to take that approach. It's a survival. It's a question of survival. That was my growing understanding. It's a question of survival. It's a question of course they have to take that approach, because it's not as if we wear labels around our necks, signs on our heads saying, no, here's this guy's history, here's this guy's history. Nope, he doesn't, but yes, he does. It's a matter of survival. You have to treat everything that falls in that category as a threat, because to do otherwise is to invite disaster and catastrophe. And then with my most recent video that has gone far and wide, there are so many women for whom their literal experience has been all men.
Poor Simp is going to learn the hard way when his wife finally leaves him, or he finds out that she's cheating on him for a man who displays toxic masculinity, or God forbid his wife uses a false accusation against him. Women having to choose which man she can trust is not exclusive to just women. Men have to do the same thing. Who to do business with and not get screwed over, etc. In the old days, women wouldn't be left alone. One of her male family members, preferably her husband or father, would accompany her to the store. Most kidnappings happened to women who lived that strong, independent life, like coming home at midnight after a girl's night out, or go to work at 5 a.m. in the morning, by waiting at an empty train station. And the truth is, he doesn't feel safe because the simp looks like a weakling.
Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video, guys. Till next time.